I'm here today with Jason Peck of Keller Williams Downtown Realty, getting our market update through October of 2016. So, Jason, let's go ahead and start out with the month over month. What happened sliding from September into October?
Well, first off, the election's over.
Yeah, woohoo!
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's like excited in that and can take solace in that. It's kind of interesting. We did see some difference between the detached single family versus attached single family, which would be a condo or townhome. We did see a seasonality drop month over month in detached single family dwellings of 11%. And then for actives for attached dwellings saw an 8.5% drop.
Okay.
Under contracts are actually up for single family, so those were up 1.4% month over month. But we saw a drop in under contracts in condos and townhomes of 1.5%. So a little bit of differentiation there.
Yeah, but it's only 1% here and there, and so it's basically flat for the most part, correct?
Yeah. The other interesting thing that we saw was, year over year inventory change. So in single family detached homes, we saw a drop in 3.9%, but in condos and townhomes, we actually saw an increase of 8.5%.
Goodness.
In active condos and townhomes year over year compared to October of last year. This past October, though, from an inventory standpoint, was still a historically low October overall since they've tracked for the last 30 years, since basically 1985. It's probably about a third of what we typically see from a historical trend in inventory for the month of October.
Wow. And so teeing ourselves up for 2016, if we have inventory that's down year over year and it's a historic low, but demand continues to remain at a pretty good clip, what do you foresee happening as we go into next year?
Well, the Fed has already came out before the election that they are looking to raise interest rates probably in December before the end of the year. So we can anticipate that. We are seeing more activity just in the last few days with buyers really kind of jumping on board, anticipating that interest rate is going up. We all realize that we're on borrowed time, probably about 18 months to 2 years behind when it comes to interest rates. So we will see a run up from that standpoint with buyers jumping into the market. With inventory being low, there are some concerns there that we will, just like we have experienced in the last 4 years, that bloodbath on the buyer side where they're having to make a lot of concessions to be able to get that property.
And so looking at going into the fourth quarter, trying to tee people up and get them set to continue to play in the real estate game through winter of the fourth quarter, how would you compare the fourth quarter to the second quarter if people choose to wait until spring of next year?
Yeah.
What's the benefit doing it now?
Well, absolutely. So there's a few benefits. One is if you are looking to sell and also purchase in the Denver metro market, now is actually a great time to do that. And here's the reason why is because you're going to have a greater chance of finding that property. Inventory changes daily, and we're going to probably experience about the same amount of inventory in the spring that we have today. The biggest difference is the buyer pool. Okay, so we don't see a dramatic drop in the list to sell ratio this time of year in the fourth quarter. So if you're looking to have a more comfortable process of, I need the equity out of this property to be able to go purchase my next property, sellers are more apt to accept contingent offers this time of year.
Absolutely.
If you do wait till the spring, you're going to more than likely pay over ask. You're also going to probably, people come out, they'll waive inspection, they'll waive appraisal. And then the other caveat that we need to take into account is in regards to lending delays. And that was experienced heavily earlier this year in regards to appraisal delays and stuff like that. We just have a lack of appraisers in the Denver metro market, and they're going to be very busy come spring and summer of next year.
We fully anticipate timelines being shorter as you work through the fourth quarter rather than waiting until things really get kicking again in the second quarter of next year. Yeah. Are you having any projections as to what pricing might look like going into next year if we continue at 10% year over year?
Yeah, I think from a standpoint when it comes to pricing, we've discussed in previous market reports in regards to the cost of waiting. And if you were to go back to 2014, you're looking about, if you're to purchase in let's say May of 2014, roughly about a 23% difference in value of home. So the cost of waiting. The other thing is, if interest rates jump a quarter to a half or 3/4 percentage point, or even just 1 point, the cost that you will pay for that home over the life of the loan, you ultimately you end up with our price points ends up being about $100,000 mistake.
It's amazing.
So if you look at the average sales price. So with that being said, the cost of waiting, especially when we all know that interest rates are going up. Now, here's the thing is that there will be a herd mentality with interest rates that a lot of people will wait till the rates actually go up. And then ultimately, that's going to cause the buyer pull to be more dramatic, and you're going to actually end up paying even more than
Wow.
you would in today's dollars.
That's a great point. We've already started to see some on our settlement statements of high fours, and we even had a 5 peak up the other day. So
Yeah.
that was interesting for us to see that on the title side of things.
Yes. So, just that little bit of adjustment, even though even below 5%, we'd still be at historically low rates. You just have to anticipate that and anticipate that you will be paying more if you do wait.
Absolutely. In closing, anything else that you'd like to add or encourage people to do in winter?
Do your due diligence. I'm seeing a lot of agents out there right now that quite frankly don't have the experience or consistent transaction closings on a month-to-month basis. And so you got some home sellers that are listing with agents that might have only done 5 transactions in the last 12 months. And so I'm seeing a lot of properties that are just overpriced. From that standpoint. So we are still seeing homes that are 3 weeks or more on the market. More than 50% of those homes are doing a price drop. And that price drop is probably about a 5 to 6% price drop on average. So we are seeing a lot of that.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much, Jason. Keller Williams Downtown Realty will be back next month with our November update. Thank you.